Today, I'm going to show you how to make this spicy gochujang noodle bowl. The entire recipe comes together in 15 minutes, it is super easy to make and it has 65 grams of protein. First thing first, the protein source. Here I have 180 grams of extra lean ground beef. Any ground beef works here, however, extra lean beef has half the calories of regular ground meat because it has only 5% fat. That is why it's so deeply red in color with very few white spots. Next, I'm gonna dice a red onion. Yellow or white onion works just as well. This weighs around 50 grams, and if you want to add more volume, I recommend dicing a red bell pepper, but I will keep it very basic for the video. So, next is the star of this recipe, and it's the sauce. Put a blender on a scale and start with 100 grams of cottage cheese. This is a ridiculously good protein source with 12 grams of protein for 70 calories. Add 100 grams to the blender, followed up by the next ingredient, which is called gochujang. This is a Korean chili paste made with fermented soy. It is a staple in the Korean cuisine and it has so much flavor. It is spicy though, so I would add 20 grams, which is about 1 tablespoon, and then adjust it in the future if you want even more heat. Next is 10 grams of honey to add a sweet component to the sauce, and finally 15 grams of milk. The milk is just here to get the blender going so it doesn't get stuck. Alright, blend it for 60 seconds until smooth and set the blender aside for a second. So let's talk about the noodles. I recommend trying noodles called udon. They are my favorite noodles from the Asian cuisine. They are chewy and so satisfying to eat. You will find them in most Asian grocery stores or in the Asian food section of a regular store. Take them out of the package, you will see that they feel almost like gummy bears, but don't worry, just heat up a pot of water, add 2 pinches of salt, and as soon as it starts to boil, add the brick of noodles and wait for 90 seconds. Then go in with tongs and give them a little shake up. They will completely loosen up, and that is it. This takes 3 minutes in total. Just drain the water and let the noodles sit in the sink for a minute. So let's get cooking. Heat up a pan over medium heat, add 4 grams of oil and then start with the diced onions and a pinch of salt. Adding salt at the beginning of stir-frying vegetables helps pull out moisture and that cooks them a bit faster. Also, caramelizing onions will take a long time. However, you can help speed up the process by adding a splash of water every 60 seconds or so and continuing to stir. I did it twice and as you can see, the onions have some caramelization. This was after stir-frying 5 minutes in total. At this stage, push the vegetables to the side, add 2 more grams of oil and now add the ground beef. I like to let the beef sit in the pan untouched like a steak for 60 seconds so the bottom can get some browning, and after 60 seconds, flip the meat and add a pinch of salt and some freshly cracked black pepper, and whoops, this happens when you use cheap kitchen tools, I guess. If that happens to you, no problem. Remove the meat and the onions from the pan, try to get rid of most of the peppercorns and add everything back in. Finally, add a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, then break everything up and mix. The meat needs only 3 minutes in total to be fully cooked. Okay, at this stage, add the noodles back in. You can already switch off the heat at this point and then add the mixed sauce straight from the blender. Give everything a good stir for about 1 minute or so until the noodles are fully covered with the gochujang sauce. Add the noodles to a bowl and optionally, but I recommend doing this, add a squeezer of half a lime and some chopped cilantro on top, and honestly I still had some peppercorns left in the pan and they tasted quite good, so don't worry if that happens to you as well. The entire recipe comes in at 749 calories, 91 grams of carbs, 18 grams of fat and 65 grams of protein. These types of recipes help me and over 10,000 people lose weight and keep it off. Why? Because I specifically make sure that they taste delicious, are filling and have great macros, and I created a cookbook with over 250 recipes like this one, from breakfast to lunch to dessert, pizza, burgers and cheesecake. You buy it once and you get all recipe updates for free. The link is in the description.